stop disappearing from posting YouTube videos for months at a time and then make a welcome back, I'm back video, and you're like, what the fuck, girl? So hey, welcome back. Today's welcome back video, I actually have some very, very, very exciting news. I'm going back to school in my 30s to get a master's degree and become a youth librarian. There's a lot of reasons why I made this decision. Passion is part of it. The changes in corporate America and something that rhymes with schmartificial schmintelligence, definitely part of it. I am incredibly excited to be making this big change in my life and kind of be shifting into this new career for me. Even though I'm in my 30s, even though part of my little brain wants to tell me it's too late for all of that, why are you doing this to yourself? There's a much bigger part of my brain that is telling me like this is what I'm meant to do, and I think it's an incredibly lucky and privileged and beautiful thing to find what you feel like you were meant to do in this one life that we get on this world. So let me give you a little background, a little backstory on how all of this happened. So I have been working part-time at the public library system where I live in Cincinnati since October of last year, and have absolutely, without a doubt, fallen in love with it. I have always loved libraries. They hold a very special place in my heart, but I did not realize that I would just adore working in a library and could see myself doing that long term. I actually posted this video earlier this year or late last year about doing a personal curriculum, trying to decide if I actually wanted to go back and get my master's in library science. And I honestly did not do very much with that personal curriculum. It was a wonderful idea and just not something that I executed on, which actually I probably should have practiced, because now I'm going back to school and will actually need to do things. But I'm hoping that the pressure of actually being graded and getting a legitimate degree and not just like a pat on the back from myself will force me to do the schoolwork. It better force me to do the schoolwork, or else all of this will be for naught. But I did that personal curriculum and did do some pieces of it. I did read some articles, I did some informational interviews with other librarians, and just talked to a lot of people about kind of the field and what it was like and what they thought of it. And primarily because I enjoyed my job so much and felt so passionate about it, and also like that I have the like natural inclination for the types of things that I would need to do in being a youth librarian, I just made the decision, you know what, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna apply, and I applied and I got in. My own personal interest and my own passion was definitely a part of it. But there were some other reasons that went into this. So a little bit about like my work history. So I'm in my 30s. I graduated college decades ago, and I got a bachelor's degree in nonprofit administration. So I actually spent like the first 10-ish years of my career working in nonprofits. I did everything from working in like medium-sized nonprofits to very small, like 3 people on the whole staff. I basically did a little bit of everything in the nonprofit world: program management, volunteer management, grant writing, fundraising, event planning, all of it. And I loved it. I went into the nonprofit world because I wanted to make a difference. Like, I knew very early on in my life and in my studies that making an impact and like leaving positive change on this world was something that was incredibly important to me. So I loved my time in nonprofits, and I also hated it because it is very, very difficult to work in nonprofits. I loved making a difference, and you're overworked and you're underpaid. And granted, I know that being a youth librarian will be overworked and underpaid. I am very ready and prepared for that. At the time that I decided to leave nonprofits about 5 years ago, I wasn't ready to spend the rest of my career at that point basically fighting for my life. And I made the switch kind of right around the time that COVID was really hitting its peak in like mid to late 2020 to the startup and corporate world. I started working a fully remote job. I was an executive assistant. I moved into kind of like an employee experience, HR, kind of management-esque role. I moved fully into corporate, back in the office, and now in my current job, I work in a kind of like tech adjacent HR management, event planning, kind of employee engagement role. It is still fully remote. Honestly, it pays really great money, there's really great benefits, and there's a lot of wonderful things about making this switch to corporate America. It allowed me a lot of flexibility and freedom and stability, both financially and in how my days get to be structured, in a way that I just didn't have at any other point in my career. And I'm very grateful for this corporate stint because it has also allowed me the freedom we just bought a new house that we're building. We got to move across the country and feel like we had the freedom to do that because I worked remotely. We're gonna be out of debt here in hopefully the next 5 years, including the new house that we're building. So there's a lot of benefits to it. And there is this little thing that you may have heard that is, new on the scene, and it's called artificial intelligence. And it is really, for better or worse, and let me be clear, I do think that most of it is for worse, it is changing the landscape of jobs and how we work and what jobs are there and how they all work together. And in the world that I exist in, I have seen a lot of writing on the wall, and I don't feel, one, confident that I will have a long-lasting career in the type of work that I'm doing right now, which, to be honest, is the only type of work that I think I would want to do, am equipped to do, and would feel even close to being ethical about doing in corporate America. I just don't feel like those jobs are going to exist in the same way in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And I want to set myself up for success outside of being controlled essentially by what the job market says is available for me. I want to make sure that I have a diverse set of skills and, quite frankly, that I enjoy what I'm doing. Because I'm no longer willing to kind of sell my soul to corporate world, especially as I feel like we're teetering further away from what I can ethically kind of put up with. And I realized that the only way that I can make an impact in the world is if I have the time, space, energy, and resources to do that. Even working part-time at the library has felt like coming home to me in a lot of ways. And I'm just thrilled that I get the opportunity to be a youth librarian. So let's talk about how this is going to work. We've talked about how I got here, I'm making this decision. Let's talk about how it's going to work going forward. So I, up until about a month-ish ago, was working a full-time remote job, 40 hours a week, and also working 20 hours a week at my in my local library system. I worked at our downtown branch, and that was a lot of hours. The way I had to work was that I did not get a day off. Every day, Monday through Sunday, I was working at least one job. 2 days a week, I worked both jobs. And it was a lot. And I knew that that wasn't going to be sustainable forever. I also knew that it was not going to be sustainable, particularly if I was going to grad school at the same time. So about a month ago, I made the decision to drop down my hours at the library to being what we call a substitute role. And in the substitute role, I only have to work 8 hours a month, which is great. And it's particularly amazing for me because I get to stay in the system, I get to keep working on my skills and kind of keep my relationships within the library fresh. And it also means that I get to work at different library branches in our 42 library system. So I would get different experiences, get to see how different libraries host their youth and teen programs, how different librarians work with youth and teens, and so I'm really excited about how much I can learn in this role that's different than what I was learning being a part-time at one specific location. My full-time job is staying the same. I'm not leaving that unless they lay me off, and then I'll ride that severance wave until as long as I can, baby. But until that happens, I'm staying at my full-time job at least until I am done with my degree. Now, for my degree, I am going to a fully online asynchronous master's program. What that means is that fully online is pretty self-explanatory. Asynchronous means that there are no live like classes or meetings or sessions or lectures that I have to log into at any point. I don't have to be available Tuesday at 6 p.m. for a 3-hour long class every week. I am still held accountable and have to do coursework set at a certain pace. So it's not like when the course opens in August, I see everything that needs to be done for the 12 weeks of the course or the 16 weeks of the course, and I can do it all in the first week, or I can do it spread out, or I can do it all at the very last minute. I still have to kind of pace myself. The courses will release, I think, 1 week at a time, and I'll have to do like discussion boards and papers and readings and maybe watch like recorded videos each week, and will be graded upon those as part of the program. The program is 36 credits is what's required. That's about 12 classes. Most of the classes are 3 credits. There's some like independent study and kind of field supervision that you can do for like 1 credit at a time. But I'm really focused on doing those 12 3-credit courses. There are 5 foundational courses. The first foundational course has to be taken my first semester. It is just kind of like foundations of library and information science. The next 3 foundational courses can be taken at any point in the program, although it is recommended that you kind of start with those, or at least a few of those. And then the last foundational course is my capstone, which I will take in the last semester of my coursework. Outside of those foundational courses, I get to choose electives that I want. They're kind of in different categories. Youth librarianship is one. I think there's like a leadership and management one. There's like academic libraries. I think there's one about like rare books and cataloging and archives. So they have a ton of different courses to choose from, and I really liked this program because I really liked the electives that they had that fell into that youth librarianship category. They have some really great courses about working with people with disabilities, multicultural literature, multicultural youth literature, teen programming, kid programming, like just kind of everything that I'm particularly interested in learning. They've got a course about, so I'm really excited about that. And then for how long this is going to take me. So there's a spring and fall semester, and they also have a summer session. So essentially 3 semesters a year, and if I took 1 class at a time, it would take me 4 years to finish. And that was kind of the original plan. I was just going to really take my time with it and just kind of slow and steady go through it and kind of like take a little bit of a step back from doing so much in my life and just kind of really be able to like, you know, revel in being back in school and doing a program that I'm really excited about. And then the last like 3 months has happened with, again, AI, the tech world, the corporate world, rapidly changing things, lots of layoffs, So my husband and I decided that I would cut that time in half to just kind of give myself another thing to fall back on in case something does happen with my job. So I will be taking 2 classes at a time, and I will be done in 2 years. I think that is a beautiful thing about doing kind of these, especially online and asynchronous programs, is it allows you to kind of pace yourself in whatever way you need. You know, so like if I do get laid off, I could take 3 or 4 classes at a time because I won't be working a full-time job. Or if there's one semester that's really busy with my full-time job, I could drop down to 1 class and kind of do it that way. So there's a lot of like flexibility with this program, which I'm very excited about because my ADHD brain would not have done well if there wasn't flexibility. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really happy and glad about that. I am a little nervous, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I think I'm going to really enjoy it, and I have to remind myself that, like, I love school. It's something that I'm good at, and that's, like, not to toot my own horn. It's just, like, my brain works well with the things that school requires, and I am excited to be learning about something that is 100% without a doubt the most passionate I've ever been about anything in my life. So I'm excited about that. And I'm a human being. I got a full-time job. I've got still kind of a part-time job. Like, I have a house to take care of. I have my well-being to take care of. And, like, those are things that as I've gotten older, I've realized are incredibly important to me is my own health and movement and what I eat and my sleep, and making sure that I shower enough and having good time with my like dogs and cats and husband and friends. Like, I'm trying to find a good balance to it all, and I think that's something that, like, admittedly I'm gonna struggle with, but that is important enough for me to fight for. So I am super excited about this next phase in my life. I am hoping, fingers crossed, to come back to YouTube and kind of have this be the focus of this channel, is like me going back to grad school, talking about libraries, talking about what I'm learning in my program, leaning into this new phase of my life. It's still your bookish things, still your bookish adventures, and like going to book events and reading vlogs and all those kinds of things, but I'm really trying to let go of this feeling of like this channel has to be a specific thing and it has to look like how everyone else is doing things. Like, why don't I just do whatever the fuck I want and like what's exciting to me and what's actually going on in my life. So if you are a subscriber and you're watching this and you're like, hey girl, missed you, oh my god, you're so great, thanks so much for coming back. If this is the first video you've ever seen of mine, if you're new, like, hey, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on it and listening to me yap for probably what is far too long. And maybe you'll consider subscribing and seeing what I get up to in this kind of journey of going back to school. I've got about 2 more months until I start, and I am giddy with excitement. I wish I could go ahead and start right now, but I guess it'll be a lesson in patience for me, and we all know I'm not a very patient person. Okay, my sweet loves, my sweet, sweet library lovers. I have really enjoyed yapping to you, at you. It's not a conversation quite yet. Hopefully you'll leave a comment though, so it can be a conversation. But I've really enjoyed talking to you. I'm really, really excited about this. Thank you so much for being here and for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye. God, I almost fell. Did you see that? Yikes.
Got me up on a late night. You steady playing on my mind. Oh, I can't get you out my head.